Young and the Restless Spoilers. Faith had always known that the truth had the power to set people free, but she never expected that pursuing it could cost her so dearly. Locked away in a dimly lit room, she felt like a prisoner, not just of the physical walls around her, but of the secrets that weighed heavily on her conscience. Her own mother, Sharon, had committed an unspeakable crime. Faith had discovered that Sharon was responsible for the death of Lucy's mother, Heather. The shocking revelation haunted her, making her feel trapped in ways far more confining than the four walls of the room she was locked in. Faith wasn't the kind of girl to give up easily. Through sheer determination and cleverness, she eventually managed to escape her confinement. The moment she felt the cool evening air on her face, she knew she had to make things right. Her thoughts immediately turned to Lucy, the one who deserved the truth more than anyone. There was no time to waste. Faith ran as fast as her legs could carry her, adrenaline coursing through her veins, as she made her way to Lucy's house. When Lucy opened the door, she was surprised to see Faith, breathless and looking more troubled than usual. Faith's heart pounded as she tried to muster the courage to tell Lucy what she had learned. Her words stumbled out, barely audible at first. Sharon. Sharon killed your mom. The moment the words left her lips, she felt a crushing weight lift off her shoulders, but the relief was short-lived. Lucy's eyes widened, her body tensed as if her entire world had just been shattered. "What did you just say?" Lucy asked, her voice trembling, yet sharp. The air between them grew thick with tension. "I'm sorry, Lucy," Faith whispered. "Sharon confessed to me. She killed your mother, and I've been trying to tell you. I'm so scared." Lucy's face morphed into a mask of shock, then anger, and finally rage. Her hands shook as her mind processed Faith's revelation. The words Faith had spoken felt like a knife to Lucy's heart. Is this true? Could it possibly be true? Lucy's voice cracked as she began to shout, demanding more from Faith. Faith nodded, her own fear mingling with regret. "It's the truth," she confirmed. "I heard her say it. She admitted it, Lucy. I didn't want to believe it either." Before Lucy could respond, Daniel, who had been in the other room, overheard their conversation. Stepping into the room with wide eyes and clenched fists, he interrupted the girls, his voice demanding and filled with urgency, "Where is Heather? Where is her body?" Faith, now feeling the intensity of the situation, hesitated. But she knew there was no turning back now. "Sharon, she threw her into the river," Faith confessed quietly. "I'm so sorry, Daniel." A flood of emotions rushed through Daniel. Anger, sorrow, disbelief, they all collided inside him. His wife, Heather, the love of his life, was gone. The river? Was there still hope, or was it too late? Without wasting another second, Daniel reached for his phone and dialed the police, his voice shaking as he demanded a search and recovery mission. His mind was racing, but the one clear thought that surfaced amidst the chaos was that he would deal with Sharon later. Right now, all that mattered was finding Heather's body and bringing her home. "I'll make Sharon pay for this," Daniel muttered to himself as he hung up the phone, his eyes burning with the promise of revenge. But first, he needed to see Heather. He needed closure. While Daniel was consumed with the search, Lucy was unraveling before Faith's eyes. Her pain had transformed into something far darker, an uncontrollable fury that only revenge could satisfy. Tears of anger and hurt streamed down her face as she stormed past Faith and rushed toward her father's study. "Lucy. What are you doing?" Faith called out, panic rising in her voice. She followed Lucy down the hallway but couldn't catch up. Lucy threw open the door to her father's study, her mind set on one thing, revenge. She yanked open a drawer and pulled out her father's gun. "I'll make her pay. I'll make Sharon pay for what she did to my mom," Lucy cried, her hands shaking as she gripped the cold metal. Her world had collapsed in the span of a few moments, and all she wanted now was vengeance. "Lucy, no. You can't do this." Faith screamed, trying to reach her friend. She felt a knot of fear twisting in her stomach. "This isn't what your mom would want. Please, listen to me. You can't become like Sharon. But Lucy was beyond reason. She stormed out of the house, her rage consuming her thoughts. Faith, desperate to stop her, ran after her, but her mind spun with dread. Would Lucy really kill Sharon? Could Faith prevent her from making a terrible mistake? In a tragic twist of fate, Lucy's obsession with vengeance led her down a path she never intended. Instead of confronting Sharon, Lucy's frantic search led her to the person she least expected, Faith's mother.
The sound echoed through the night as Lucy stood there, frozen, staring at what she had done. Sharon wasn't the victim, but Heather wasn't the only casualty in this tangled web of revenge. Lucy had unintentionally shot Faith's mother, continuing the cycle of pain and tragedy. Faith, who had been too late to stop Lucy, screamed in horror at the sight. The blood on Lucy's hands now symbolized the same grief and guilt that had consumed Faith only hours earlier. And now, the tables had turned. Lucy's thirst for vengeance had claimed yet another life, and the bitter feud between their families was reignited. The same hatred that had driven Sharon to her horrific crime now festered in Lucy's heart, and the bond between Faith and Lucy was irrevocably shattered. As the sirens blared in the distance, signaling the arrival of the police, the weight of what had just transpired hung heavy in the air. Faith and Lucy, once friends, now stood on opposite sides of a deadly conflict. The feud that started with Sharon's secret had spiraled into a chain of events no one could stop. In that moment, Faith realized that there was no going back. The circle of revenge and pain would only continue unless someone found the strength to break it. But standing there, amidst the wreckage of their lives, she could only wonder if that was even possible anymore.